Okay, welcome to our lesson 4 of technology for teaching and learning. The title is Theories and Principles in the Use and Design of Technology-Driven Learning Lessons. So we're going to more exciting parts of the lesson when it comes to technology for teaching and learning. Imagine walking into a classroom where every lesson is not only delivered but experienced, where students aren't just passive receivers of information, but active participants in an immersive learning journey. Talk about immersive learning journey, a wonderful experience for all of the students. So this is a promise and a potential in the field of technology in education. So today, we aren't just talking about the gadgets or apps, but about the transforming of our entire approach to teaching and learning through thoughtful designs, and we term it as technology-driven lessons. Wow. So in this space of digital age, technology is at the core of how we live, how we work, and how we communicate. So, but in the real work or in the realm of education, it's not enough to simply add technology to our lessons. So we need to understand the science behind it. For if you talk about the science of ICT, we look into their theories and the, the other one, theories and
Principles.
yes, the principles that shape how we integrate technology to enhance the learning experiences effectively. So today's discussion, we will unravel the foundational theories like the theory of constructivism and connectivism that would inspire innovative lesson designs and that would leverage technology. Have you ever heard about constructivism theory or the law of connectivism? Yes? Or is it your first time to hear those terms? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that would be another way to engage you on how to master, how to develop lessons when it comes to constructivist learning theory and in connectivism learning theory. Okay. So more importantly, we'll explore how we can craft lessons that not only capture students' attention, but to deepen our understanding, foster their collaboration, and prepare them for the world of work, okay, in this digital advancement age. So as we explore these exciting intersections of technology and pedagogy, let's ask ourselves how we can move beyond the conventional and create truly transformative learning experiences through the power of technology. Would that be exciting questions for all of us? Yes, how we can transform the lessons from conventional type or non-digital type of presenting lessons to a creative, transformative learning experiences that would entail and ignite the curiosity of all your students. So welcome to the world of the theories and principles in the use of even more design technology-driven lessons. Now I have here slides for you. If you are familiar with these topics or statement, please pick one among the blue, green, and green part if you know something about this. Do you have anything in mind that would recall you of anyone from the 4, 8, 12, 12 statements or models? Who can share? Hello? Is anyone of you knows anything about these 12 statements from the boxes? Nobody? So you are not certain that when your lessons previously in your baccalaureate degree would not mind to know all of these statements. Okay, don't you worry. So we will be discussing one by one the meaning of these theories, principles when it comes to the field of education and when combined it with technology. Let me ask you, what do you remember about the Dale's con of experience? If you talk about experience, what comes to your mind or what is the top of your mind when you hear about experience? Yeah. What do we mean by experience? Anybody? Sir Christian. Sir Christian Kalasin. Please open your mic, sir. Sir Christian, are you in? We have two
Opo.
Christian here. We have Christian Kalasin and Christian Galam. I'm referring to Sir Christian Kalasin. Sir Christian, what do you know or what is the top of your mind when you hear about experience?
Ano po, yung mga pangyayari po, events
Wow.
sa
Events, okay? Pangyayari, karanasan, no? In Filipino, there is mga karanasan. If you talk about karanasan or experience, are they being felt or done by a particular person or something that would still to happen in the future?
tapos na po.
Okay, tapos na pag
Yung
nagdaan, no? So na-experience mo na. If you talk about experience, you already felt it, you already did it, and you have conclusion about what you did, di ba? Either turning into
yes, sir.
good or to bad experience. Okay? Sir Christian Galam,
Yes po, sir.
what to you is experience?
Sir?
What comes to your mind when you hear about experience, Sir Christian?
Um, about sa experience, sir?
Yes. Can you name one experience that happened to you in the past that you can still recall and remember at this time, either it's in good or in bad faith?
When the time I graduate, sir.
Wow, you
That's
graduated in that was in what year, sir? If you mind?
2023 lang po, sir.
Yeah, last year. So what was
That
the
was a good
experience of graduating and receiving diploma in front of thousands of viewers or
it was
audience?
a good experience, sir.
Okay. It's a wonderful experience when you receive that diploma because that's the symbol of your sweat and blood for the past 4 years, di ba?
Yes, sir. Yes po, sir.
That also symbolize the
Hard work po.
toils and support of your parents. Okay? So napakalaki ang meaning ng diploma to you. So graduation is a worth noti to remember or something that you experience. Thank you, Miss Jennifer P. Diray. Jen?
Yung
Naka-off.
experience po sa akin, sir, for example, nung nag-intern po ako nung college po. And from that experience po, I gain knowledge and skills po in that certain activity po. Yun po yung experience po.
So, if we tell about experience, something that you gain knowledge out of it, no? There's something that places you into a pedestal or into a situation where you would not that would lead you to recall and remember, no? Yan. So, habang nabubuhay ka, you can say that you have something learned out of it. So, that is experience as Dale's con of experience is what we're talking about, no? In layman's term or in educational term, experience is also termed as a schema or background knowledge. Somebody mentioned it about knowledge, no? Experiencing is providing you with a knowledge of what the topic is all about, what is the object all about, what is the context all about, and what do you know about it. So if you have knowledge about it, then you experience it already. You don't know what to say if you were not able to experience it. So the better the experience or the schema or background knowledge, the better that you could say something about it. So if I ask you a question and you were not able to respond me immediately, what does it mean? For example, all of these 12 statements on these bags or these boxes is not a part of your memory, or you cannot recall in any instances that these sentences were you be able to put in your mind as a part of your working working vocabulary. For example, if I ask ADI model and you don't know what is it, meaning that's not a part of your experience. Okay? If I say Gagnis 9 events and you cannot provide me anything as a background of it, so meaning you were not able to master it or it's not a part of your schema or your experience. Okay, so experience means schema or background knowledge, something that you have learned, something that was placed in your mind already, and you have a working vocabulary when I ask you what are these things for. Okay, so as educators, we also explore various models that help us integrate technology effectively into your teaching. Now, who can share a quick recap if you have learned or have a study about, for example, TPAC model? No? Wala pa rin. No? How about the insights from the pedagogy wheel and its role in aligning learning objectives with appropriate tools? What about the Bloom's? Who could recall what are Bloom's taxonomy? Do you have in mind? Sinong mga teachers na dito who are practicing teachers, if I may ask, who is Bloom? Okay, if you will be part of the teaching profession, so we should master the Bloom's taxonomy and the revised taxonomy of Bloom's, because it is in this part that we are learned to develop our lesson plans or daily lesson logs by the use of the Bloom's taxonomy. And in Bloom's taxonomy, we are to choose specific lessons for the day that starts with the verb, okay? And verbs should be in the knowledge, skills, and in attitude level. So these are parts of the Bloom's taxonomy. What about team, tips, SAMR, Azure, and ADI model? So all these are designed to guide us in effective integrating technology into our lessons. So these 12 are very important when it comes to when we develop our lessons with the use of technology. So we will learn by and by of these 12 integrations of these theories and models. And finally, we are to integrate the instructional design tools such as the Gagnis 9 events and the Merrill's principle of instruction. So bringing together the structure, and that is providing every student a learning process. Okay. Now, as we proceed today, let's keep these models and theories in our mind. First, the Dale's con of experience down to the Merrill's principles of instructions. The next activity is based on your readings or in your schema or background knowledge, if you have, which of these components do you like most, or a concept that you think is a non-negotiable in your practice as teacher in the future? Would you mind to choose? Any of these 12. I'm not be telling you that that's wrong or that's correct, but in your tawag dun, in your gut feel, okay? In your gut feel, what do you think, or which of these 12 do you think is the non-negotiable principles in teaching? Anybody? May I invite one to please look at least one among these 12 and express their idea that this is a non-negotiable and it should always be part in the day-to-day lesson. Miss Jenny Rose. First, Ma'am Jenny Rose. If you can use the chat box, please do key in your answers in the chat box so that I will be reading by and by of your responses. Miss Jenny Rose, you're acknowledged. Please open your mic. Just choose one from the box. I will not be telling you that you need to explain it. Just choose. Ma'am Jen? Okay, Ma'am Rona is raising her hand.
Yes, sir. Yes, good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. Sir, may I just try?
Yes, you do. Sige.
I chose Assure model like ASSURE. That's it, sir.
Anong pinili mo?
Assure, sir. ASSURE.
Wow, the Azure
So,
model.
yes,
Okay.
sir. So, Assure model stands for A is for analyzed learners, S state objectives, S select methods, media and materials. U utilize technology, media and materials. Require learner participation for R, and E for evaluate and revise. I think this one is I don't think so, sir. That is the meaning of that. But Azure model is a guide in crafting an instructional flow that can guide the teacher in integrating appropriate technology and media into the instructional process, sir. So there are there are first there are many steps for Azure model, sir. So first, may I proceed, sir?
Sige, sige.
First step, sir, is analyze the learner, sir. Of course, the learner as the center of this instructional process and learner's learning style. We should also analyze also the age level, interests or preferences of our audience, their special needs and cultural diversity. Next is state objectives, the main instruction guide that will direct the flow to reach the target, sir. That's the objective. And also known as learning outcomes expected of the lesson. Also, a statement describe what the learner would be able to perform as a result of the instructions, sir. Next step, selecting the appropriate way of delivering the lesson and using the applicable media or technology can be effective to many learners that they may acquire understanding of lesson or gain the competence that they want to decide. Step 4, utilize method, media, and materials. Of course, teachers decides which part of the instructional flow will a particular materials or technology be employed and the manner on how it will be more effective to achieve the learning outcome. So it's like teaching methods for the upper primary, sir. So step 5, require learning participation. So student engagement is an important element, of course. The learners have to be made to understand their role in taking accountability of their own learning. Um, the last step, evaluate the student's performance. It's assessing the learner's performance can take place across phases of lessons. Evaluation should be congruent to the learning outcome of the lessons. So I conclude that the assure process is really just a matter of common sense, and an effective teacher knows that the perfection of their techniques does not come overnight, and there is always a room for improvement, sir. By following the assure process, you will be sure to improve my teaching lesson uh, for the future years to come. That's it.
Well done, Miss Rona. Thank you so much for providing us assurance that our learners in good hands with you through this Azure model. Okay, very well said. You mentioned always on the part of the learner, because when we talk about developing and designing lessons, you should always think on the benefit of our learners. So learner-centered is Azure model, no? Knowing the needs, the context, the preferences, how learners would able to enjoy and maximize the use of the lessons. Then you provide them the opportunities and engagement. And in the end, we want to assess, okay, evaluate what happened to the lessons when we provide them with opportunities or activities or drills. Okay. Now moving on. So that's one non-negotiable part, no, in the practice of of among us teachers is to know who are the learners. Okay, how well did you know your students? Ano ba yung mga preferences nila? Ano yung kinaayawan nila? Ano yung mga what do they like most? What do they enjoy? So that you can craft a very good lesson or a very good activity or learning episodes is you have to know your students first. For example, among section A, or star sections, what do they need? Or what do they like most about lessons? Siyempre, yung gusto nila, competitive ang style, no? They want you to be very firm and proceed to standards because that's what they want. Gusto nila mga challenging activities, no? With one step higher than the others. What about kapag nasa lower class sections ka naman? Ano naman ang mga things that you need to think over and remember when you provide examples or learning episodes to your students among those sections, no? So those are things that you need to consider, and we term it as non-negotiable parts. If you talk about non-negotiable, we don't need to skip it, but you have to teach the way they need to learn it. Okay, next. Bumabalik, no? Now, I want you to share a lesson from your past subjects. For example, yung teacher nyo during your elementary, high school, or college that you can still vividly remember today. And what did the teacher do to make that particular lesson still a part of your life? And you would always recall the face of your teacher, the smile, and the journey that you had with that particular topic or lesson. May I invite one or two to share? What do you remember about your most loved teacher when she taught a particular lesson? Anybody? Today is National Teachers Month, as mentioned by one of your classmates in class B. So if you talk about National Teachers Month, you are to recall your experiences about your best loved teacher that made you the difference. May I now listen to any one of you who could recall vividly your experience with your best loved teacher when she was able to teach you something that until now you could vividly recall that particular concept. Anyone?
Hello, sir.
RV stands for Ma'am
Rika Visoria po.
Ma'am Rika.
Yes, sir. Sir, ito, she was my grade 6 advisor. And actually, sir, favorite ko siya. Till now, pag nakikita ko, hindi ko siya makakalimutan kasi tumatak sa utak ko yung sinabi niya during yung, meron pa kasing GMRC nun, sir eh. Oo. Yun yung baon-baon ko hanggang ngayon. Yung sinasabi niya, kahit matanda na ako, may mga anak na ako. Hindi ko nakakalimutan yung good manners and right conduct na lagi niyang tinuturo. And lalo na yung kapag nasa tricycle ka, ibibigay mo yung chair mo kung mas matanda yung yun yung hindi ko makakalimutan. Tapos kapag yung may makasalubong ka na teacher o kaya mas matanda, bitbitin mo yung bitbit niya. And I'm sharing this because I'm putting into practice even now.
Wow.
Even now. Yes, lalo na yung lalo na yung sir, yung pagbibigay ng chair. Yung pagbibigay ng chair doon sa mga kahit yung pagod ka na. Kasi nung bata ako, 'di ba, mas marami yung matatanda na pag nasa tricycle ka ganun. Tapos kailangan mong i-share kahit ikaw yung nauna. Paggalang mo yun yun yung hindi ko siya nakalimutan at hindi siya nawawala na practice sa akin. Na tinuro niya sa akin. Yun yung tumatak sa isip ko na good manners and right conduct. Yun yung siya yung pinaka-favorite ko na teacher kasi fair siya sa student niya. Actually, at saka para sa akin kasi in our daily lives, napaka-importante yung may manner tayo. Especially, lalo na kapag professional ka, lalo na kapag teacher ka, dapat ikaw yung nauunang nagpapakita ng tinuturo mo. Yun yung tumatak sa akin kasi nakita ko din sa kanya yung good manner. Yun po.
Wow, thank you very much. And that is what we call replicating or passing on the legacy of your grade 6 teacher that now you are also using or practicing the things that you learned from her, no? So that is modeling. So we vividly recall the terms, the words, the very words of your teacher when it comes to passing the good virtues and values that you learned from them. Lagi-lagi yan yung iniisip natin, no? Mas magandang mag-iwan tayo ng magandang salita, ehemplo, para makilala at ma-remember ka rather than yung galing mo, no? Kahit gaano ka kagaling, gaano ka exceptional when it comes to practicing your subject matter. The very thing that your students would always recall is how well you touched their lives, how well you had imprint something that worthy for them to remember as part of their daily living. Yun yung pinaka magtatatak talaga bilang isang guro. Yung nabigyan mo sila ng salita at yun ay binubuhay nila hanggang from generation to generation. Well done, Miss Rika. Who else? Who else? Let's sustain the energy for tonight. No more? We are all 34 here at nahihiya kayo, no? Huwag kayong mahiya. Sige, mag-Filipino lang tayo kung gusto niyo mag-Filipino. Yes, are you ay nakatago sa pangalan ni Ma'am Rona pa rin.
Ay, sige sir, I'll give chance to other na lang. Thank you.
Si UT, Ma'am Yuzel. Yuzel, what do you vividly recall to your teacher that you consider the best lesson that you gained? Uzel.
Can you hear me po, sir?
Yeah, you're heard.
Is it referring to the past subject, sir, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sir. So one lesson that stands out was, I think, in history class during my college. So the teacher used like storytelling to bring events to life, because I'm a type of students before that I really hate history, because it's like it's really boring, sir.
Yeah.
But
I'm with
yeah,
you.
so yes, sir. So instead of just listing dates and facts, she painted vivid pictures of the people involved, their motivations, and the consequences of their actions. We also having role played key moments, which made the material feel real and engaging. So I think this is that is the best part that she do, sorry, to get attention of the students. Um, Her enthusiasm was contagious, and she encouraged us to ask questions and think critically about the events. So that interactive approach made the lessons more memorable and helped me appreciate the complexities of history in a way that rote memorization never could. So it taught me that learning can be much more impactful when it feels personal and relatable, sir. That's all po.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Uzel. Someone you recalled among your college instructor in history that she was able to draw your attentions through storytelling. Okay, the milestones and the histories. I came alive through the purposeful, engaging, and emotional storytelling. No, that is making you a vivid recall of all the experiences of the persons involved, no? Ang ating mga ninunuhan, both in the local and international scene. Thank you for that. No more to share? Okay, so in summary, we are looking at yes, Miss Jenny Rose, parang you're done already. Generally, we're looking at the ability of the teacher to portray the best version of herself when it comes to when she stood up and provide the lessons, no? Ganun kasi para tayong mga artista, when we stand, we always provide the best version of ourselves, and the way we utter words ay talagang pumapasok sa kaibuturan ng mga puso ng ating mga estudyante. That's why we vividly recall. Now, in our lesson, we'll learn first the first part of the theories and principles, and that is the Dale's con of experience, or we term it as the con of learning. Now, I want you to look at the diagram. You center your attention on the triangles and also on the left hand side and on the titles of this learning con, no? The con of learning. And I want you to share something. What have you seen when it comes to the bold letters shown and examples shown? Anything that you want to share when you look at the diagram of Dale's con of learning. Then somebody will open their microphone to share something about it. This will sum up in how well you recall something, no? How well you recall and how well you could provide an answer when somebody is asking you a question about a particular topic. Okay, are you ready to say something about the con? Where's the con of learning? If you talk about con, what is the shape of a cone? In a flat surface, we
Ayan.
term it as, in a flat surface, it's a
Triangle po.
triangle. What about in a dimensional? In mathematics? Nagiging con, no? May opening part siya, tapos meron siyang funnel type, no? From wide opening down to the last part, and providing it an angle, no? Sige. I want you to say something about the cone. Who's raising his or her hand now?
Sir, I think it's the process of teaching, sir.
Yeah, it's the process of
Yeah.
teaching. What are the process that you've seen in the diagram?
At the tip of the cone, there is verbal symbols like a teacher uses a verbal, of course, because
You talk
he
about
always,
verbal, it's utterance.
yes, sir.
Saan mo nakita ang verbal? Nasa?
Top po.
So at the very top of it.
Ay, opo. Saan po?
If
Saan
it
po
is
ba
at the
mag-umpisa?
very top of the cone, what is the lion's share of verbal symbols when it comes to gaining experience or gaining knowledge? Is it effective? Is it active or is it passive to you?
Yes, sir. It's passive of 10, yeah, 10%.
So the more the teacher talks, the lesser the experience or the memory that you could recall from the particular teacher. Totoo ba yun?
No, sir.
Because you are rather than sitting and receiving information from the one who is speaking. For example, in a training or in a conference where there are hundreds of you are attendees of a particular training, then he or she doesn't mind to ask you questions. And you're sitting there at the end of the 5-day training, then your head would ask you, what have you learned? What have you learned from the training? Meron ka bang maisasagot agad?
Interaction.
Okay, so this seems to be correct, no? Passive. Nakita niyo yung green level? Yun. So lahat daw nung until the green part, what's television? Okay, until television says that these are passive way of learning, starting from TV. Ano yung sunod? Motion pictures, recording, radio, and still pictures or images. Then we go to visual symbols and the verbal symbols. They seem to be passive in nature. However, 50% of what we see and hear is better, no? Better when we saw it, when we practice it, but there should be an added part to make it a learning experience, providing it a better learning outcomes, no? A combination of television, motion, and recording radio and still photos need it to be demonstrated, need it to be applied, and need to be it in practice. So if you show pictures to your students, how will you provide it that would invoke active participation rather than being passive? Sige nga. When you will be demonstrating and you have a picture, what are you going to do with the picture so that you could invoke active participation rather than being it passive? Anybody? Okay. Tingin tayo ng mga pangalan. How can you maximize the use of images or photos in your lessons so that it would become active rather than to be passive? Giselle.
Sir, can you hear me po?
Yeah, you're heard.
Okay, so based on my experience po, because I'm teaching here in Thailand po, so my students is kindergarten.
You're in Thailand.
Yes
Wow.
po.
Kumusta ang Thailand, girl?
Okay lang po.
Mababait daw may estudyante dyan, tama?
Yes po.
Respectful.
Yes po.
Sige.
Okay po. So because here po, I'm using more pictures po. So in order for me po, in order for the students to have participate po, when I show the pictures po, I always asking what they can see in the pictures or what the boy do like that, sir, so that they can participate po.
Okay. So you ask them what the picture talks about or what they see on the picture. Okay. So that would entail them to respond one by one based on their knowledge, based on the concepts that they see on the picture. No? Wala naman din mali or correct. Basta they provide you response of what they see. No? So in a very different vantage point of view. Kasi meron kang hindi nakikita at meron silang nakikita. So you appreciate. Now, ano pa? Based on you ask them what they see on the picture. Explicitly telling that these are the things that they see. What else para maging engaging yung picture na yan? Yes, are you
Sir,
is
based on my yes, sir.
Hi, sir.
Rona,
Hello.
sir.
Sorry po.
Ay,
Sige, ang dami nang gustong magsagot. Okay, Rodalyn, you're acknowledged. Miss Rodalyn.
Is it me, sir? Ako po,
Yes,
Ma'am
Rodalyn?
Rodal.
Yeah, you're acknowledged.
Am I heard, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. So dito po, just like what you've done po a while ago, you are letting your students do citing of their experience. So it could be engaging more since it is purely on not basically on what they know, but also what they experience. So it becomes active.
Thank you for that, Miss Rodalyn. You're correct, no? Aside from asking them what they see, you also ask them, have you ever experienced yan, as same as the boy who's holding a cake? Were you able to experience also celebrating your birthday with a cake? Diba? Or none of your time, no? Considering celebrating your birthday, you haven't had a cake yet. Ganun. So, tanungin mo, based sa kanilang experience, kung na-experience din ba nila yung nakikita nila sa picture. So that would entail them also to be active rather than to be passive. Now let's appreciate again another part here. When you ask them to watch a movie from a television, mga teachers kasi ngayon, no, iniiwan yung bata na manood ng isang TV episodes at pupunta sa somewhere else o sa meeting or sa galavanting from the other rooms. O sige, instead na maingay kayo, manood na lang kayo ng TV. Ginawa yung babysitting yung TV na yan. So paano maging useful ang television so that it could reach up to 50% of learning outcomes. Ngayon, no, mostly, lahat ng classrooms ngayon in public and private schools, palakihan na ng TV. So kung naki-meeting kayo as parents at PTA, sinasabi yung sa kabilang room, ang laki ng TV niya, that's 65 inches. Tayo, 32 inches lang, mga parents. So anong gagawin natin ngayon sa maliit kong TV? Anong sagot nyo, parents?
Mag-ambag.
Magsishare. Magsishare. Ayun, sige. So do you think television is also a need or is it a luxury among classrooms? What
It's
is
also
your idea? Huh?
not necessary naman, sir.
Huh? Not necessary?
Hindi, kailangan din,
Hala
sir.
kayo.
For
It's a need
instance,
po.
yung television, sir,
Yeah.
it gives also a lesson for the learner, sir. For instance, when I was in high school, we watched a movie, a titled Dante Speak. The teacher gave us a reaction paper about it and how does the movie affect our daily life, like that, sir. It's a relatable story, and that's it,
Yeah.
sir.
Oo, gone were the days na yung television kasi natin noon ay yung meron pang picture tube na ang laki-laki, tapos binubuhat natin from one classroom to the other. Ngayon naka-fix na siya at naka-post na siya sa blackboard, no? So hindi na lang siya pang watch of video clips, rather nagiging na siya, no? Multi-functional, nagiging PowerPoint presentations as monitor na siya at ang dami na niyang role. So let's not put it as something that's extravagant, but then that's a very good help among your day-to-day activities as of this time. Okay? So let's maximize. Pero ang problema, yun nga, we have a school MOOE to fund this, and we have the DCP programs wherein each schools are given, no? Of course, secondary or tertiary yun lang yung tayo being parent to provide, no? Tulong na din natin kung ganon, but it's not always our responsibility to provide this. Tama naman na PTA parent ka, obligasyon mong i-provide, no? Schools can provide it. Pero kailangan lang natin ng scheduling per teacher. O magiging teacher kayo, huwag kayong mag-insist ng donation sa inyong mga parents, okay? Bigyan nyo ng sakit ng ulo ang principal, hindi yung mga parents ninyo. Kasi may pera ang mga schools. We have your MOE, at kapag nutrition program, nagkakaroon ng mga coronations, ang laki-laki kaya. You also have your canteen. Malaki ang mga investments ng mga schools. Not always the pocket of your homeroom parents. Maaari ka din kasing ireklamo at kasuhan dahil lang sa lagi kang nagpapadonate, no? Sabi nga, every year, electric fan. Kinakain ba ng bata ang electric fan o inuuwi ni teacher ang electric fan? Joke lang. Okay? Next, punta tayo sa blue collar. What are the things that make the difference when it comes to providing experiences among our students? Let's go to the 90%. 90% of what they do or they perform and they do a task is something that is worthy to retain their experience. Anong mga ito? Would you mind to read them? We have 4, no? What are these 4 experiences? Anybody? We have who get the largest or the most lion's share? We have
Direct
Like,
purposeful experiences.
direct purposeful experiences.
mhm.
What do we mean by direct or purposeful experiences?
Maybe, sir, it came from the real life. It is based of the real life that has been sir, in teaching kasi, sir, what I understand here, kung titignan ko yung yung ano niya, yung sequence niya, yung from 90% to 10%, most engaging ang learning niya kung ini-engage mo talaga siya sa real life experience ng bata. Kung ano yung nagagawa nila, at hindi lang yung naririnig nila, pero yung nangyayari mismo sa kanila at nangyari na. Pwede yun, sir, mas nagiging active ano sila, active listening, active learner po sila.
Okay, you have an idea. Who's on the line? Si Ma'am?
Ay, Visoria po. Kasi what
Miss
I've
Visoria.
experienced, sir, although hindi po ako sa sa teaching profession, but I've been teaching in church ministry, especially doon sa mga outreach areas po. Yung mga bata, yung mga outreaches po na area, lack of knowledge sila into sa mga maraming bagay. Paano kung saka yung behavior nila is mahirap siyang i-contain o mahirap silang i-manage. But yung paggamit ng picture na passive po yun eh. Pero kapag linagay mo na siya sa experience nila, magtanong ka sa experience nila kung nangyayari ba ito sa kanila, nagiging active po, nagiging engaging, nagiging maganda yung discussion po at doon ko po nakita na natututo po sila kung tinatanong ko kung nangyari na ba, kung anong gagawin mo, kung ano yung natutunan mo sa pangyayari yan kapag ini-engage ko na siya o tinatanong ko na siya sa buhay nila. Ganun po, yung reality.
Thanks, Miss Visoria. No? So let's capitalize on the experience of the child. No? That's it. No? The real experience, or we term it as, ano yung sabi nyo, the real world applications rather than theoretical, rather than abstract. No? So purposeful meaning they do it daily. It's a part of their daily living. If you provide them activities that would lead them to better understand concepts through actions, through play-based activities. So all of this will lead them to an active participation. The second one is connect. Ano to? Hindi ko makita. Ano yan?
Contrived experiences, sir.
Contrive?
Yes, sir.
Paano ba ito palakihin? Nay. Then dramatical experiences. Yan. They go through a real experience, they model or simulate a real experience, and they role play a situation. Okay. Do you like to use this in your day-to-day classroom activities? Group work, collaboration, dramatization, role-playing, project-based learning, experimentation? Are they good or most effective all the time? Yes or no? Yes, say yes, okay? Because group work is non-negotiable to your day-to-day classroom activities. There should always be group work. It's in group work where they portray their role as the, okay, what are the roles during group activities? Sige nga, would you mind to name their roles? Before you conduct a group activity or dependent and independent activity, they need to know their role first before they're going to conduct such. Kasi magiging useless ang group work or group presentations if they don't know what they are to do. No? So before you group them from group 1, group 2, group 3, or group 4, you always ask them what are their roles. So what are their roles when they proceed to group work? First, there must be a
Narrator, sir.
the narrator or the leader. Okay. The one who will lead the group. The second one is, ano pa, yung mga roles. Meron dapat tagasulat. Ano yung mga recorder, no? Ano pa?
Reporter.
Of course, yeah, reporter, and will not discredit the members. Ano naman ang role ng mga members?
Give their own
For the
ideas.
collaborators. Now we go to the 70% of what they say and write. What are the activities or lessons that they could gain 70% of experience? When we go lower down, dun sa blue-green, we have demonstrations. Then they go for field trips and exhibits. Okay? Yun. So maganda din pala, these are also active way to gain experience through field trips. What do we mean by field trips? We talk about field trips. Are we always talking about 3-day out of fun or out of town activities wherein you rent a bus and proceed to somewhere else? Yun ba ang field trips? That may be one, no? Pero hindi lagi. May mga school tours or field trips na ginagawa natin within the school premise, no? Anong mga yon? In schools, we have school in a garden. Ano pa? Ang pwede nilang pasyalan sa loob ng ng school ground or premises. So marami, no? That is also a way to experience field trips rather than staying longer out of somewhere else. Nakakatakot din ang field trips. Though these are one way to provide them another vantage point of view rather than sitting in their classrooms, then you let them go out, no? Most of the time. So, kung ang lessons nyo is all about biology, o saan sila pupunta pag biology subjects? Saan?
Laboratory, sir.
Sa mga puno-puno. Sige. Sa nursery, ano pa? Sa botanical garden, sa ano pa? Mga grasslands, doon sa basta sa lahat ng mga areas where they could also maximize the concepts for the day. Okay? You also have exhibits. Okay, you showcase their portfolios. You post them somewhere else and everybody will see. And you also have a tour. No? We term it as a tour, meaning from one wall to the other. You let your students go from one stations to the next stations. If you talk about stations, you have exhibits to show from one particular station to the next station. So in your classrooms, you can set a station 1, station 2, station 3, or station 4. Your students will be the one to provide something what to see on those stations, no? Then you go for a tour. Exhibits and field trips will go as one. You also let them think of somewhere else, no? Those are also examples of providing them other opportunities to think. Naulit lang to. Next, the question says, how is the con of experience related to Bloom's taxonomy? If we talk about the Bloom's taxonomy, we always look into the objectives. The Bloom's taxonomy of objectives. What are these objectives? The objectives will talk about what are the things to be learned from a particular day. And these objectives tend to be SMART. Okay? SMART in the field of education stands for an acronym, SMART. When you design a lesson, your lesson plan should always be SMART. And the SMART objectives is derived from Bloom's taxonomy. I do hope that your teacher in your learner-centered and the rest of the other topics or subjects in your class is being explained, no? What is objectives or the Bloom's taxonomy of objectives. What is SMART? Kailangan bilang isang guro, always remember this is SMART. And all other fields, no? Meron at merong meaning ang SMART. Who can say something what is SMART? Objectives. Anybody? S stands for?
Specific.
Specific. Okay. What is M?
Measurable.
Measurable. A.
Attainable.
Achievable or attainable.
Okay. SMAR. R.
Relevant.
Realistic.
Is it relevant or realistic? Okay, bahala na kayo saan yung kinukuha yung mga research nyo na yan. And T is?
Time
Bound.
Time bound. Okay, time. So always remember the SMART objectives. Okay, lahat ng teacher dapat alam yan. Kapag tanungin ka ng principal, is your lesson SMART? Miss Uzel, is your lesson today is aligned with a SMART objective? Tanungin mo, no? So it should be specific, measurable, attainable, and time-bound. Now they added it with starter, smarter, then smartest. No? Kapag smarter, meron silang dinagdag na ENR. What do you think is the two letters stands for smarter? Smarter is exciting and rewarding. Yan. Exciting and rewarding. And kapag smartest, meron na naman siyang meaning. But then we'll stick to the basic of the lesson plan or the objectives of today's lesson. It should be specific, meaning the verb should always be doable. Specific lang into a particular lesson for the day. If you say define noun, at the end of the lesson, the student should be able to define noun. Define noun is already a SMART objective. Why? It's a SMART objective because it's specific that at the end of the 1 hour lesson or 45 minutes, your student should always should already know how to define a noun. Okay? The rest of your students or 75% of your students should recall what a noun is. Next, it should be measurable. How can you measure that your students were able to define noun? What assessments that you're going to do? If what is your objective, it should always be your assessment. So if your objective is to define noun, what would be your exam? What will be your exam or your assessment?
Give examples.
You ask. Your objective for today is define noun. What would be your assessment to make it measurable?
Sir, let them identify if it's a name of place or a name of things because noun are names of places like that. So,
okay,
you
so
have
you're
to let them
telling
identify.
that the assessment should be the kinds of noun. What about
Yes,
if
sir.
the next day your lesson is to know the different kinds of noun? For today, their lesson is only to define noun. Diba? Very specific. Huh? We're not talking about the kinds of noun, but they define noun first. So anong magiging assessment mo sa mga bata? to be specific and measurable. Always remember this, class, no? If what is the objective, it should always be the what? Remember, if what is the objective of today's lesson, it should always be the assessment part. Yes? To be very careful with the SMART objectives. Kung ano yung objective mo na sinulat mo, at the end of the lesson, the student should be able to define noun. So sa assessment mo, you will only say define what a noun is. Iuulit mo lang yung verb. Okay? Yes?
Yes, sir.
So what particular assessment na nakakapag-define ng noun? It can be an essay type, di ba? Or an oral type. Paano maging essay type? Anong question mo sa essay? What is?
What's
Noun.
That is a noun.
Kapag oral naman o patanong lang, hindi magsusulat ang bata, anong tatanungin mo sa mga estudyante mo para uuwi na sila? Yun lang yung topic mo eh.
Define now.
Yes, define noun. Tig-isa-isahin mo sila bago sila uuwi. Okay, walang uuwi hanggat hindi ma-define ang noun. Yun kasi ang mali sa teacher, no? Ginugulo niya ang kanyang lesson. Okay, he or she is making things complicated. So be careful of the SMART objective. That's the only part that you are going to teach for that particular day. You need not to go away from your objective. Simple as that, no? So that is what we are making it standardized or as SMART objectives. Then tomorrow, you are now ready to learn about the kinds of noun. So yun na. Isa-isahin na ng bata ng person, place, things, or events. Okay? Would that be okay to you? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Simple as that, SMART objectives. Now, the question is, how is the cone of experience related to Bloom's taxonomy?
Bloom's taxonomy. I know in Bloom's taxonomy is that sir, can I try? Let me try.
Yeah, sige.
Sir, in Bloom's taxonomy, kasi dito sa pyramid niya, ito kasi, dito sa based on my research because I don't have any experience and background regarding this. Sabi niya, remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. All of this, sir, is related siya doon sa direct, purposeful experience, dramatized experience, and the contrived experience. Yung level na, na 90% doon sa, ano na nga yung una kanina? 90% sa cons. They will analyze, understand, apply, evaluate, and create. And ganito din yung gagawin nila dito sa my blue. Dito sa interaction, this kind of learning interaction, they do the same thing. This kind of dito, ito.
That's a very keen observation. Congratulations, and you are correct. Ma'am, si Ma'am?
Visoria po.
Visoria, very good, no? The learning outcomes is already the learning objectives. That's the other term for learning objectives or the learning outcomes. What happened at the end of the session or a particular lesson, no? So they able to define it, describe, list, explain, demonstrate, apply, practice, analyze, design, evaluate, and create. So in the Bloom's taxonomy on the level of objectives, the level 1 is always the knowledge base. And what is the knowledge base in the taxonomy? That's remembering or recall of information. If you're only asking for what is or what is all about or what is a noun, so you're only defining it. So that's in remember or recall level. That's the part of the Bloom's taxonomy on remembering, okay? And what is the highest form in the revised taxonomy? What is the verb? Buddy? What's the highest form of the
Create.
revised Bloom's taxonomy? Create. Very good. Sino nagsabi nun?
Shane Beltran, sir.
Shane, very good. You are also observant. No, the highest level in the Bloom's taxonomy is to create. But in the old version of the Bloom's is to evaluate. But then in the revised Bloom's, it's already create. No, creation is the most learned concepts, but it's the most difficult to teach. It's the most difficult to teach, the most difficult to portray, the most difficult to demonstrate. Okay, but then we always go with the lower level first, followed by the succeeding part, then we proceed to the most difficult part. That is what we call gradual psychological unfolding of events. It's gradual, GPU. Kung na-learn nyo na yan sa learner-centered, no? What is GPU? GPU stands for the gradual psychological unfolding. Or the other term is scaffolding. Please say it para papasok sa utak ninyo. Scaffold.
Scaffolding.
Yeah, scaffolding or GPU. Or in Matatag or in K-12, ang tawag dyan ay spiral progression. Let's say it again, spiral progression.
Spiral progression.
What do we mean by spiraling or spiral progression? From simpler to
Broad.
Or from simpler lessons to difficult lessons, no? Spiraling. So marami tayong natutunan ngayon, no? Next. How are field trips different from exhibits? Na-answeran na ba natin to kanina? If we just only stations from one station to the other, ang term is exhibits, no? Corner to corner. If you talk about field trips, you go out from the four corners of the classroom and the environment is being changed or altered rather than sitting from one particular classroom. So, kung na-transfer ang lessons from outside world, no, sa iba, somewhere another vantage point of view or atmosphere, then that is called field trips. Why is there a need to have contrive ba o contrive experience? Check nyo nga yung how it's being said. Contrive?
Timi amo, sir.
You consult the Google. Okay. Understanding the needs for contrived experiences in education. These are designed or simulated learning experiences or activities created to mimic a real-life situations or scenarios or concepts that are not easily accessible or feasible for a direct experiences. So mostly, sinasabi nyo, you are providing them with an activity in a tawag doon, in an envelope that they are to portray something, no? For example, for group 1, think that you are in a public market. So portray the role of a seller and a customer. Yung nagbabarat ng kanyang tinda, no? Mga ganon. So those are some of the scenarios, okay? What else? In a drama, okay? One will portray as the villain of the story, and the other will portray as the protagonist. Ganon. So you are experiencing something that could not be experienced in an actual life situations, but you are modeling it to provide a meaningful also experience. So that is called a contrived experience. You get a lot of these as part of your lessons when you will be creating or crafting your lessons, and these are very good, no? Very good activities that you could provide. Okay, so we are done with Dale's Con of experience. Were you able to gain something about Dale's Con?
Yes, sir.
Yes? Yeah. So do you gain knowledge about experiences? The con of experience. So the bigger the part is on the purposive experience, okay? Or purposeful experience. And the least is the, ano yung pinakalis kanina?
Verbal symbols.
Yes, verbal symbols. Remember the adage, if I see, I forget. If I hear, I remember. But if I do, it will become a part of my life. Please say it again. If I hear,
If I see, I forget.
If I
if
hear,
I see, I forget. If I hear,
If
I
I
remember.
remember.
But if I do, it will become a
But if
part
I
of my life. Anong maxim yan? Saan galing? I-research nyo nga. That's the law of learning, no? The law of learning from Dale's point of view. If I see, I forget. If I hear, I remember. But if I'll do, it will become a part of mine. Okay? So I guess that would end our discussion for tonight. Then tomorrow, next day, no, that would be on Wednesday. We'll talk about the visual principles. Don't you worry, I will be sharing you again the complete list of these slides, and I'll be inviting somebody to be the speaker in these sessions. Okay.
Thank you, sir.